Hello everyone, a morning of gratitude, growth and inspiration, celebrating Mr. Jos Thomas's lifelong commitment to teacher development. Our aim this year is practical and ambitious, to deliver focused, research-informed professional learning that teachers can apply immediately in classrooms. And that school leaders can use to build sustainable improvement. We prioritize learning that is collaborative, evidence-based, and respectful of teachers' time and professional expertise.
This is a passion. This is a calling.
CATD was not just a plan. The foundation of education is training.
I can't wait to find out who is nominated. I was wondering who would be that person who would have gone that extra mile quietly without expecting recognition. I can't wait to find out.
As an educator at the Choice School, CATD has been an integral part of my professional development and growth. And I am truly excited to be a part of this year's CATD Chairman's Award.
We're really looking forward to celebrating the passion, dedication, and achievements of our educators.
Welcome everyone to CATD's Chairman's Award Ceremony 2026.
Whether you're going to receive a certificate today or not, you should be so proud, so motivated to be part of Choice.
So, to all of you, respect CATD. CATD is a stamp that I will carry as a permanent certification body for education.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to our respected founder and chairman, Mr. Jos Thomas, esteemed members of the management, distinguished school leaders, honored guests, and our incredible community of educators. It is a privilege to welcome all of you to the CATD Chairman Award Ceremony 2026.
At the Choice Schools, we believe that education is never static. It evolves through curiosity, dedication, and growth of its educators. Every classroom that inspires curiosity, every learner who discovers purpose, and every success story that unfolds begins with an educator who has chosen to continue learning. This conviction lies at the heart of the Choice Academy for Teacher Development, CATD.
CATD was founded on the understanding that the most powerful investment any institution can make is in its teachers. It is a platform where educators challenge themselves, learn together, exchange ideas, and forever refine the art and science of teaching.
This defining idea is a living testament to the philosophy of our founder and chairman, Mr. Jos Thomas, who has always believed that the highest purpose of education is not simply to inform the mind, but to transform the individual by nurturing knowledge, building character, and promoting health in equal measure. Knowledge enables us to think. Character guides us to act with integrity. Health empowers us to serve with energy and purpose.
Today's ceremony is therefore much more than a recognition of achievements. It is a celebration of professional excellence, lifelong learning, servant leadership, and the extraordinary individuals who quietly shape the future every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CATD Chairman Award Ceremony 2026.
To formally welcome us into this celebration, it is my distinct privilege to invite an educational leader whose vision and commitment have been instrumental in shaping CATD into a vibrant culture of professional learning.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Maria S. Namart, the driving force behind CATD, the head of the IB Continuum, and the superintendent of Choice IB Schools to deliver the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful morning indeed. Do you want me to read what I wrote or just speak from the heart? What do you want? From the heart, then. I'll just keep that to keep on track with what's going to happen in the back so the team does not kill me. All right? Sir, it's such a beautiful morning, and we are blessed to have you here. Ms. Elizabeth, it's our pleasure. It means the world to us. Principals, guests, and of course, our teachers, thank you so much for making it here. I can tell you one thing for sure. I know that most of you from Calicut and Tervella started your journey today at 3 a.m., but one thing that you should understand, that it's worth it. It is worth being here. It is worth celebrating you. CATD is not it's not an event. And I heard a lot of best wishes this morning. And I was like, thank you, but it's not my event. I take ownership because I'm responsible for this academy because the chairman of our school trusts me with that. But it's all about you. This is your academy. This is your day. Whether you're going to receive a certificate today or not, you should be so proud, so motivated to be part of Choice. I might not have traveled the whole world, but I do believe that what we are getting here is rare. Today, you are going to listen to passionate participants talking about education around the world. And they're talking about professional development and all. And I can assure you, it's mostly there in policies, paper and pen. All right, but what we're living here, we are living the true essence of professional development because we have Mr. Josh Thomas who believes in it and refuses to make even profit out of it. I've been learning from him for the past 3 years. I know that I can speak for many of you here when I say I am the person I am today because of how much I have learned from him, from every conversation, every sentence, every event, any occasion, even small comments on WhatsApp messages. I look at it as an opportunity for growth. And what I have learned over the past 3 years and the drive that I have behind this passion is coming purely and solidly from Mr. Josh Thomas. And I am forever grateful for that. When I look at the degrees that I hold, I'm definitely proud. But the degree that I hold from this one and only man, visionary leader, is a very unique accreditation, very unique certificate, very unique degree, when I speak to my fellow friends and educators around the world, I tell them I have a 5th degree. It's called JT. One thing that is very essential and was essential in my upbringing until now, till this morning, I woke up my mom very early, all right, so she can just wish us all luck on such a beautiful gathering, because I do believe in her power. And till this morning, she reminded me not to take anything for granted. This is how I was brought up. This is how I'm bringing my children up. And this is how I want you all to look at any blessing you have. Waking up this morning is a blessing. Being here is a blessing. Learning is a blessing. And you should never, ever take anything for granted. Things can change, so that's why you have to be always on the edge of learning more, appreciating what is happening around you, giving it your 110% in order for you to enjoy. Some of you might ended up in this field by chance. And I heard it. How did you end up in the field of education? By chance. I hope you do understand that it was not a chance. I hope you do understand that it's a calling. And I do hope that you understand the purpose behind what you're doing. Because if you can't feel it, I am telling you, you're wasting your years. You're wasting your time. So this is something that we should be grateful for. When we sing along with the children the school anthem, and we say, thank you, God, for school so nice, that you should say it from the bottom of your heart every single morning when you step to school. Do you agree? Yes. All right. So let me take you in what's going to happen today here, and what to expect, okay? And what we've covered the last year. During the last year, we have clocked 187 hours of training. That's a good number. Our goal for this academic year, 300 hours of training. First year, I conducted most of the workshops. Second year, we had 12 plus facilitators. This year, we had 30 plus facilitators. And we want to grow even further. Most of the workshops, or not most of the workshops, I should not say it this way, there has been an intensive work in Calicut School, and I should give it to the team and their thirst to learning. The way they put their heart and soul during the transition period from CBSE to IB was remarkable. I've never seen something like that in my entire life. So can we put our hands together to the Calicut team? They got trained and they attended training sessions beyond anyone could imagine. You understand that the school is a little bit far away from all the homes, right? They did not hesitate staying there till evening, or sometimes every single day, most of the Saturdays, to get this up and running. And today, we have 143 IB children in Calicut. 2 more to join on Monday for the diploma. And we have from EYP to DP fully started and in action. So that is an achievement, and the reason behind that was the training. How did we do all that? Because we have a visionary leader, Mr. Josh Thomas, who has given us all the trust and freedom to work. And unless and until you've worked closely with other chairmen of schools, I don't think you understand what I mean when I say he has given us the full trust and freedom to work. So when we are working, it becomes a matter of ethics. And with all my respect, sir, we feel so happy when you're happy and proud, but we do it because it is an ethical calling. Because you trust us to that extent, because you give us all this freedom, we find ourselves standing and thinking, how can we ethically give it back to the community, to the children, to the foundation, and to India? Simply, all right? And through this journey of the CATD and all the workshops, we have 2 top performers, I should say, all right? This has nothing to do with the Chairman Award ceremony today. We have one teacher who clocked 104 hours of training between Kochi and Calicut. She was running with me back and forth, attending and conducting like crazy, all right? And this acknowledgement goes to Ms. Aparna Hari. Aparna, you're backstage. I hope you can hear me. She doesn't know about this. You're here? All right, congratulations. All right, this is Aparna, if you don't know her, the DPC for Calicut School. But I should say, we had a lot of fun on the train, the Vande Bharat, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we learned a lot. I think people thought we were crazy because we were the only people with laptops and 3 hours, like that. It was worth it. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you so much. And from the admin team, we have someone very special and equally important for the involvement and what we're doing, also clocked the highest, which is Miss Shalini Thomas from the admissions department. She has clocked, please stand up. Can you turn? Can we put our hands together to Shalini? She doesn't know that because she didn't even keep a record of the workshops, but whenever she heard a workshop, she was like, tak, there. Whether here or in Calicut, whether it's IB training sessions for parents or what have you, she was there. You're going to Choice House? I'm coming with you. Is there a workshop here? Yes. So she clocked also the highest. So thank you, Ms. Shalini, for being an integral part of the journey of our school and CATD. We truly appreciate it. Okay, so beside that, we have one highlight for today. It is the summer project. And please don't get upset with me with what I'm going to share. I just want to encourage you, okay? We have shared an initiative to the 3 schools sometime back in, I think, February or beginning of March, something like that. And we invited all of you sitting here today to be part of a book read, a book club, all right? And it is one of the, I should say, best books that I've read for Stewart's, A World-Class Education. Different countries, different aspects and all that. And from the, I think, 700 teachers that we have today 30 passionate educators who jumped in regardless of how busy they are, regardless of how tight their schedule is. And I know them personally, and I know so many of them have their own personal challenges, but they still insisted on being part of this project. They did a lot of research over summer, a lot of research. So I only gave the book as an idea, and I asked them to brainstorm how can they turn this into a debate. And what you're going to see here today is something that I want you to, first, while you're listening, to take notes, understand the best practices of each country, and understand where India is and how can we reach there, and that it starts from a school as ours in order to make that difference. So I want to understand that, yes, a school can make a difference. right? You do your calculations. How many educators do we have here? How many students do we have? How many families? And they're extended, right? You can easily do that and understand the importance of that. How did the idea come? One time we were leaving Choice at Waves after a workshop with Sir, and he said like that, you know when the idea comes, right? Maria, I want to see teachers debate. And I was like, yeah, I'm here to make your dreams come true. And the idea came like this. All right, I thought immediately of it. Just the idea. You said you wanted a debate, and we made sure that we do give it today, and I hope you enjoy it also, sir. So you're going to witness something that is beautiful, all right? And looking forward after today, what's going to happen? You're going to receive the catalog of CATD, and the catalog is designed for 2 years, 26 to 28, based on the data collected from all heads of departments and principals, academic and non-academic teams. We have worked during summer to analyze the data and the needs, and based on that, we came up with a catalog with all the workshops that we believe are required and are on a priority for our teachers. One of them is different than each year because we cannot keep doing what we're doing every single year, right? We are introducing a mandatory course, a 3-month course for all teachers, whether you're new or whether, with all my respect, you have been teaching for 30 years. All right? Regardless of the program, we are going to complete, all of us, this course. And it's going to be on a weekly basis for 3 months, where you will have to work, read, and implement. You're not going to create something out of the world. You are going to implement based on what you are doing in class. So you should not be thinking about it as an extra work. The extra is in the reading. The extra is in the class visits, because we will be doing a lot of peer visits where we learn from one another. And to ensure consistency in implementation across the 3 schools and across both programs that we offer a choice, we have representatives. These representatives are other fellow teachers. They're not the principals. They're not the head of departments. They are other teachers who, that's the book debate. Yes, these are the representatives who you will expect them in your classrooms. And when they come to your class, you should be so happy to have them, because you will be sharing big ideas, and you will only be talking about innovation, creation, and how to ensure consistency across our 3 schools. They are not in to evaluate you. That is not the purpose. All right? Their role is linked to the course that we are going to implement. So everything is structured. All right? I will not talk about it now further, because you will receive an email with all the details on the implementation of this initiative. And the only reason behind this is to ensure consistency across 3 schools, both programs equally. Because after this year, what we are going to do, this is our next step, we will invite a reputable international accreditation body to audit our 3 schools, both programs. That will be after we finish the accreditation process for the Calicut School. By the end of this academic year, we are going to invite someone like Cognity or any international body to do that kind of audit, so we can benchmark ourselves against global standards. And once we get that, when anyone looks at international schools around the world, Choice School should pop first. Internationally, I'm not talking about India. Is this difficult? No. This is something that we are already doing, but we are going to do it intentionally, with structure. All right? So this is where we are going next. All right? So As we celebrate 30 years of choice, let us reaffirm a simple truth together. All right, try to listen to it carefully or write it down. The quality of teaching and learning is in our classrooms is non-negotiable. Education evolves, and leadership is lifelong learning. Our chairman models that every day. If he can be a learner, so can we. Or shall I say, so must we. Correct? Thank you for your dedication, your energy, and your belief in this shared mission. Enjoy today's event, listen closely to the debate, and let us renew our commitment to excellence day after day. Thank you so much, and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Dr. Maria. Your words remind us that excellence is never an individual pursuit. It flourishes in communities that believe in learning together.
In a rapidly changing world, excellence in education demands more than keeping pace. It calls for learning from the best, embracing innovation, and preparing learners to thrive in a globally connected future. Inspired by Stuart Vivian's transformative read, A World-Class Education, the CATD book debate brought educators together to exchange ideas, challenge perspectives, and reimagine what world-class teaching, world-class learning can look like in our own classrooms.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to witness the CATD book debate. I welcome the moderator, Ms. Sajda Binu Benjamin, to kindly lead the discussion.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's book debate on A World-Class Education, Learning from International Models of Excellence and Innovation by Vivian Stewart. This influential book challenges us to rethink one of the most important questions of our time. What does it prepare students for success in an increasingly interconnected and rapidly changing world? Rather than asking which country has the best education system, Stewart takes us on a journey across some of the world's highest performing education systems, including Finland, Singapore, Canada, and others, to uncover the common principles that drive educational excellence. This book reminds us that successful education is not about copying another country's model, but about learning from global best practices and thoughtfully adapting them to local contexts. Our first presentation takes us to Japan, a country whose education system is admired not only for its consistently high academic performance, but also for its emphasis on character development, discipline, and collective responsibility. Please join me in welcoming Team Japan, who will share their research, reflections, and best practices that have made Japan's education system a global model.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to our visionary leader, Mr. Jose Thomas, our IB Superintendent, Dr. Maria Nemeth, our Principal, Ms. Rachel Ignatius, respected colleagues, and fellow educators. We are Team Japan. Today, we're not here to argue that Japan has a perfect education system. In fact, Japan offers one of the most culturally adaptable education models for India because its success is built on character, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Through evidence, research, and examples, we will show how these principles can meaningfully strengthen education in our context.
Why study Japan? Because Our aim was not to identify the world's best education system, but to study a system whose practices could be meaningfully adapted to the Indian context. Vivian Stewart explains that high-performing systems are built on coherent cultures rather than isolated reforms. Japan stood out because its educational success is sustained through character education, collaborative professionalism, and continuous improvement. These principles are not only evidence-based, but also closely aligned with India's National Education Policy 2020 and the values we strive to nurture at the Choice School. So, what exactly makes Japan's education system so distinctive?
One of the defining strengths of Japan's educational system is that the character development is embedded into everyday school life. Rather than teaching values as a separate lesson, schools intentionally create routines that help children practice respect, collaboration, responsibility, and community every day. These practices become habits that shape not only successful learners but also responsible citizens. As Vivian Stewart highlights, Japan's educational success is built through a culture of continuous improvement, where both students and teachers learn together that improvement of qualities that extend far beyond the classroom.
Our research suggests that India does not need to replicate Japan's education system. Instead, it can adapt three evidence-based strategies. First, strengthen teacher collaboration through professional learning communities and lesson study. Second, move beyond rote learning by creating learner-centered classrooms where inquiry and student agency are encouraged. Finally, build a culture of continuous improvement through reflection, strong homeschool partnerships, and the philosophy of Kaizen. These strategies align closely with the vision of India's National Education Policy 2020 and provide practical pathways for meaningful educational change.
Innovation in Japan is not about having technology, even more technology. It is about using innovation to create better learning experiences for every child. Learners are encouraged to explore, investigate, and solve authentic problems through hand-on experiences. Whether it is understanding how machines work, using digital platforms for self-directed learning, or engaging in interactive assessments, learning becomes active rather than passive. Technology is used for clear educational purposes. It personalizes learning, provides immediate feedback, and even ensures that children who are unable to attend school can continue learning through inclusive technologies such as telepresence robots. Japan also prepares children for life beyond the classroom. Disaster preparedness is integrated into the learning so that children know how to respond calmly and responsibly during emergencies. These experiences build resilience, confidence, and decision making skills. Innovation, therefore, is not about adapting or replacing teachers with technology. It is about empowering learners with the knowledge, skills, and values they need for the future.
Our research findings are echoed by Mr. Jose Thomas, who has closely observed Japanese schools and society. He highlights that Japan's greatest strength is collaboration. Teachers learn together, students learn through inquiry and projects to be resilient and future ready. Schools nurture lifelong habits of responsibility. His reflections reinforce what this research consistently shows, that is, sustainable educational excellence is achieved not through isolated initiatives, but through a shared culture of learning, trust, and continuous improvement. The question then is no longer whether these ideas work. It is whether we are ready to embrace them. Now, let's hear from our own chairman, Mr. Jose Thomas, who in his book By Choice, The Unconventional Story of Jose Thomas, writes, "One day, I will finally live in Tokyo." Today, he shares the experiences and educational values behind that admiration.
Students inquire with the teacher and they make that as a project. From the project, they learn. Collaborative education cannot just be defined as something you collaborate with the student. You collaborate with the student for what? Collaborate with students for them to understand what. I think I've seen teachers back in school till 10 at night. So they're preparing for tomorrow. I'm not talking lesson preparation, planning. They're preparing and they're trying to celebrate his appearance. They're well paid. Here's in Japan, an advanced economy, and the teachers enjoy it. They get their silver to activities like clean the classrooms, doing their own kitchen work, clean the toilets. The Japanese culture and discipline is so different. And schools, they're raising a society to be resilient. And I will be fully prepared. Here they are prepared month. It says we are not preparing them. India ready compared to Japan. No, Japan is tomorrow ready for a world war. So that level of education in Japan, the level of standards are set up for practical life, not to get distance. They fix the problem, they identify an issue, and between teachers and with the collaboration of the parents, they will solve issues. I'm a positive person, but real commitment to the nation to see the child will put up a piece of garbage, disease, like Japan. Then you see if candy wrappers fall on the floor, they pick it up, there's a way to go dispose it. Same you may do it at home. It's the practice of the school. If you go to the busiest railway station in Japan, and if they see for a foreigner, they give you way first before they protect it. That's been taught at the schools. It's nothing to do with curriculum. So it's basically lifestyle training. Lifestyle training is to say good morning before without forcing them. So they say, Ohio gozaimasu. Ohio gozaimasu in one. Exactly. The respect they give. Clear mistake 80. That is what I taught in school. I wish we'll become world class across the board. Choice is world class. But choice cannot change the country. There has to be more transition, mental transition. This is the thing you say. School is not a place where you go to be taught. School should be a place where people learn. What is a tree? What is a plant? How do you see it? How do you water? Why do you water? They should become logical thinkers. The ant goal. This is the tree. We cut the tree. That this will fall. That is called the way it is. So India is not posted in Chennai, Bangalore, and Delhi and Bombay. You must go into India, where 60% of the population exists. And that is where 60% of the education also so-called exists. If the teacher don't know how to say where it is, north, south, and west, what do you expect? The student community. So it will take probably 100 years for India to get to where you say world class. Convenience. You can't have teachers of convenience. You need to have competent teachers who are professionals and who demand.
Let us now look at some proof of possibility from Choice School. While many of these practices are visible across our school, these examples demonstrates that they can be intentionally nurtured from a very young age.
നമസ്കാരം, എൻ്റെ പേര് ജിഷ എന്നാണ്. റൂം ക്ലീൻ ചെയ്യാൻ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് കുട്ടികൾ പോകുന്ന സമയമായിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ തന്നെ അവർ ആ താഴെ കിടക്കുന്ന ടോയ്സ് എല്ലാം എടുത്ത് അതാത് സ്ഥലത്ത് തന്നെ എടുത്ത് വെക്കും. പിന്നെ ഒരു പെയിൻറ്റിൻ്റെ ബ്രഷ് ആകട്ടെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ ടേബിളിൻ്റെ പുറത്തുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പോലും അതൊക്കെ കുട്ടികൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് കഴുകി വാഷ് ബേസിൻ്റെ സൈഡിൽ തന്നെ ഒതുക്കി കൊണ്ട് വെക്കുന്നതായിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളത്. പിന്നെ ഡസ്റ്റ് പാൻ ആണെങ്കിലും വേസ്റ്റൊക്കെ താഴെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും അത് കുട്ടികൾ എടുത്തിട്ട് അത് അതിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് എടുത്ത് ഇടും. പിന്നെ ബോർഡാണെങ്കിലും ഒക്കെ ക്ലീൻ ആയിരിക്കും എപ്പോഴും. അതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ഈസി ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുന്നു. പിന്നെ എളുപ്പത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട് ഭാരമില്ലാതെ നമുക്ക് നേരത്തെ പണി ഒന്ന് ചെയ്തെടുക്കാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കാറുണ്ട്. ഞാനിത് ഈ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളൊരു കാര്യം തന്നെയാണിത്.
As we reflected on our research, we realized something important. Many of the values we admired in Japan, like respect, responsibility, collaboration, and learner agency, are not unfamiliar to us. They resonate deeply with the vision of Choice School, KCH, knowledge, character, and health. Learning from Japan doesn't begin with changing a curriculum. It begins with changing one habit. If today's presentation inspires even one new classroom habit, then our research has served its purpose. Thank you. Thank you, Team Japan. Our next destination is Finland, a nation that has transformed education by placing trust at the heart of learning. Please welcome Team Finland as they present the key practices and insights they discovered through their research and reflection. Team Finland.
Imagine two children walking in a school. One spends the day preparing for an exam, and the other spends the day solving real-life problems or challenges. Who do you think is truly being prepared for the future? This isn't a hypothetical question or a hypothetical situation. This lies at the heart of philosophies of two very different systems of education in India and Finland. But before we compare education systems, I think it's important to know our own story. India has one of the world's oldest education traditions in the world and was an early contributor to global learning. Long before modern universities existed, we had scholars traveling from Asia and beyond coming to India to study math, philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and so on. Ironically, many of the principles that make Finland's education system admired today is not entirely new to us. Ancient India viewed education not just for exams or clearing results or getting grades. It viewed education as a means of shaping character, nurturing curiosity, engaging critical thinking, and preparing individuals to contribute meaningfully to society. Centuries later, during the British Raj, the purpose of education changed. It became more administered, it became more structured and exam-oriented because they needed an administrative workforce. So success was measured by compliance and memorization rather than creativity and innovation. That's where the change came in. Finland today has ranked first in the World Happiness Report since 2018 consecutively. It ranks really high in PISA and OECD scores and many other ratings which we could not fit into the slide. Finland's success is not built on long school days or a heavy curriculum load, but it started with a mindset. A poor economy which was based primarily on timber and agriculture realized took education as an economic strategy. If it had to succeed, it had to invest on its human capital and therefore invest in education, educating its children.
The education system of Finland is considered one of the best in the world because it focuses on equality, creativity, and student well-being. Education begins with early childhood education, where children learn through play. At the age of 6, they attend pre-primary education, which prepares them for school through fun activities. From 7 to 16 years, learners complete basic education, which is absolutely free. They receive free textbook, medical care, meals, and transport. Instead of frequent examination, students are assessed through project, classwork, and participation. After their basic education, students choose one of the two paths. The first one is General Upper Secondary School, which leads to the matriculation examination. And the second one is the vocational education, where they gain the practical skills. Finland's success comes from highly qualified teachers, equal opportunities, minimum exam stress, and strong focus on learning rather than competition.
Good morning, everyone. The key factor or the key takeaway, if we look at Finnish education system, is equity or equality of education. It does not mean that every child is given a benchmark and is told to reach there. Every child is given equal opportunity to reach to his or her best potential according to his or her capability. Secondly, all the schools across Finland, across the country, they're given equal grants. So they have the equal quality, equal level of providing education, facilities, etc. Thirdly, Finnish parents, they don't compete for the best schools. Like, they don't need to zero in on the best school and send their child there. They just send the child to the school which is nearest to their residence, because they know that across Finland, the quality of schools, it is same. There's no demarcation or differentiation. And the rich and the poor kids, they study together. There's, irrespective of their financial condition, social economic status, they're all given equal opportunity. That is the key point, that is equity. Thank you.
It's not easy to be a teacher in Finland. They need to complete a 5-year master's program in primary education. And admission into this program is highly competitive and involves a rigorous multi-stage selection process. Only 10% of the applicants are selected into this program, ensuring Finland attracts the best talent for this profession. Did you know that the teaching profession in Finland is held as the same regard as the medical profession in India is? In many education systems, teachers receive a curriculum and then they take a lesson. In Finland, teachers help create the curriculum. When the National Finnish Agency for Curriculum Development revises a curriculum or introduces a new policy, they don't do it behind closed doors. Instead, the government does not revise the curriculum or introduce a new policy by themselves. They form working groups with classroom teachers, with principals, with education experts, and they collaborate together. The teacher has the full freedom to take a lesson how she wants, something we heard in today's speech by Dr. Maria today. They have the full freedom to decide what kind of assessment to take, select the textbooks. So if there's something new discovered or invented, A teacher does not have to wait for a board to update it in the textbooks and then take it in a lesson. They're free to take it immediately, and they're free to even assess the child. A typical day in a Finnish classroom looks very different from what most of us are used to. We don't see rows of children copying notes from a blackboard. We're likely to see groups of children. A class might have 15 or 20 students. They work in groups with integrated subjects. There's very little or direct teacher instruction. Children are free to explore, experiment, make mistakes, take risks, learn again, and understand the concept. They understand the concept before a formula is introduced. A teacher typically continues with the same student group for about the first 6 years. And as a student counselor, I know how the feeling of safety positively impacts early childhood development. The atmosphere is calm, joyful, and purposeful. A school day is relatively short, so is a school year. And break time, 15 minutes after and every 45-minute slot. And this element in their curriculum is attracting international attention. Rather than relying on frequent standardized exams like the board exams or the baccalaureate in France or the A-levels, teachers continuously assess their students, not a written exam at the end of the year or the end of the term. So they assess through different methods like practical investigations, diagnostic tests, project work, self-assessment, which is very popular, and peer assessments. Teachers are highly trained and trusted professionals. So they have the autonomy to decide what kind of assessment method they want to render out to each child. So they have the autonomy to decide that. They can assess the child, they can give out differentiated assessments as well. Parents receive a descriptive feedback at the end of the year that focuses on the child's strengths, progress, learning habits, and areas of growth. Parents do not receive a report card with grades or a percentile ranking or a score. Children in Finland don't grow up being compared to Sharma ji ka beta.
Finland believes every child has the right to learn regardless of their ability, background, ethnicity, languages, and learning needs. Now, differently abled students are also a part of the mainstream education system, with additional support being given to them by the teachers. Now, lessons are curated and tailor-made in such a way that each and every child benefits out of it. Flexible teaching methods and continuous feedback is given to the child so that they build confidence and love for learning. Finland emphasizes on play-based learning, interdisciplinary projects, outdoor learning, digital literacy, and of course, keeping in mind their mental, social, and emotional well-being. More stress is laid on skill-based training and vocational training. Thank you.
What are the strategies India can adapt? Number one, reduce curriculum load by focusing on teaching fewer concepts in depth, allowing students to develop critical thinking, creativity, and conceptual understanding. Focus less on paper-based assessments. Shift from exam-centric evaluation to competency-based assessments through projects, portfolios, presentations, and continuous formative assessment. And I must say, as a proud Choicean, that we are already doing it here. Foster collaboration, encourage partnership between schools, parents, NGOs, and professionals. Thoughtful merger of government schools, merge underdeveloped or under-enrolled schools into well-resourced cluster schools. This can improve teacher ratios, optimize infrastructures, and provide students with better access to specialized facilities. Depoliticized education. Ensure that curriculum design and educational reforms are guided by educational research, national priorities, and long-term learning goals rather than changing political ideologies. Empower teachers by giving them professional autonomy, reducing administrative burdens, and investing in continuous professional development. India does not need to replicate Finland's education system. It needs to adapt its best practices to India's unique social, cultural, and demographic context. By combining Finland's emphasis on equity, trust, and quality with a transformative vision of NEP 2020, India can build an education system that nurtures innovation, excellence, and lifelong learning while preparing its students to lead on the global stage. I would like to add on, thanks to the far-sightedness of our founder, Mr. Jose Thomas, we are doing all of this in Choice School. Thank you, sir, and thank you.
Thank you, Team Finland. We now travel to Canada, a country internationally recognized for successfully balancing equity with excellence. Please put your hands together for Team Canada as they present their findings and reflections. Canada.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm Anita Johnson. Let me start by presenting what makes the Canadian education system truly distinctive. The Canada's success does not come from one single policy, but from a powerful blend or a combination of key principles. At its core, it has collaborative, equity-driven, and decentralized system with a strong focus on instruction. So its first principle is decentralization. Canada doesn't have a national or a federal ministry of education. Education is managed at the provincial level, not by a central authority, yet it still achieves strong national outcomes. Second one is a strong commitment to equity. So the resources are distributed fairly across the schools, and all students, regardless of background, have equal opportunities to succeed. The third one is collaboration over hierarchy. The teachers, the union, and the government work together, creating trust and shared ownership of reforms. And finally, a focus on capacity building. So instead of pressurizing schools through accountability, Canada invests in developing teachers and improving classroom teaching learning practices. So in essence, Canada shows that high performance is achieved not through control, but through trust, collaboration, and continuous professional growth. That's all from me. Over to you, Dinah.
Thank you, Anita. I will now present what makes Canada's education system truly innovative. Canada's key difference lies in its approach to reform. It relies not on control or competition, but on relationships, capacity, and coherence. First, collaboration at every level. Teachers, unions, and government co-design reforms, ensuring they are practical and sustainable. Second, a strong focus on capacity building. Rather than enforcing accountability through testing, Canada invests in teacher development and effective classroom practice. Third, strong implementation systems. Specialized support structures ensures policies are translated into real improvements in teaching. Finally, adaptive learning. Canada studies global best practices but adapts them to local needs instead of copying them. In essence, Canada's innovation lies in building people, aligning stakeholders, and sustaining collaboration over time. That's all from me. Over to you, Antonita.
Thank you, Dinah. Let's now look at how Canadian strategies can strengthen CBSE implementation. The key message is simple: capacity, collaboration, and coherence work better than control. First, teacher policy co-design. In Canada, teachers are actively involved in shaping policies, making them practical and widely accepted. Second is instructional support systems. Instead of one-time workshops, there is continuous classroom coaching through dedicated support teams, improving teaching in real time. At the Choice School, under the visionary leadership of GT Sir, this is already reflected through CATD, which provides in-house continuous professional development, and which none of our contemporaries have, and we thank you for that, sir. Third one is capacity before accountability. Teachers in schools are supported and developed first, and then evaluated, ensuring sustainable improvement. This is again a practice which we already follow. Fourth, a leadership pipeline. Future leaders are identified early and systematically trained rather than promoted without preparation. Finally, focused priorities. Canada concentrates on a very few key goals, ensuring deep and measurable impact. Overall, the shift is from top-down, compliance-driven system to a collaborative, practice-focused model that drives real change. Finally, let's see how Canadian strategies address the gaps in NEP 2020 implementation. The key insight is NEP 2020 is vision-rich but system-light, and Canada provides that system architecture. First, teacher empowerment. While NEP emphasizes it, implementation remains top-down. Canada enables this through teacher policy co-design. Second, teacher development. NEP promotes continuous training but is often workshop-based. Canada strengthens this through ongoing instructional coaching within classrooms. Third, accountability pressure. Schools face expectations without enough support. Canada reverses this by building capacity first and then evaluating. Fourth, leadership gaps. While policies exist, leadership development is fragmented. Canada addresses this through a strong, structured leadership pipeline. Finally, overloaded reforms. NEP has multiple goals at once. Canada focuses on a few priorities, ensuring deeper and measurable outcomes. To conclude, Canada does not change the goals. It ensures those goals are achieved through strong systems and sustained implementation. And on a personal note, this research has reinforced how fortunate we are to be part of an institution like the Choice School, which already reflects many of these global best practices. And on that note, we conclude our presentation. Thank you.
That was Team Canada. Our next presentation brings us to Australia, a country preparing students not only for academic success, but for an increasingly interconnected and rapidly changing world. Please join me in welcoming Team Australia to share the best practices they have uncovered through their research. Australia.
Good morning, everyone. As the educational researcher Vivian Stewart aptly observed, the goal is not to cast blame. It is to understand what the best school practices and systems in the world are doing right and identify what we might do differently and better. This powerful statement reminds us that meaningful educational reform begins with thoughtful observation, reflection, and adaptation rather than just comparison. Today, we invite you to explore Australia's education system, again, not as a model to imitate, but as a framework from which we can draw meaningful insights. Through this presentation, we will examine the philosophy, the practices, the innovations that have shaped Australian education and consider how these approaches can inform and strengthen our own educational landscape. We are Team Australia, and we are delighted to begin this journey with you.
The Australian curriculum is developed by UCARA, the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, which provides a nationally consistent framework for curriculum design, assessment, and reporting. Rather than focusing solely on content acquisition, UCARA places equal emphasis on the development of essential capabilities such as critical and creative thinking, ethical understanding, intercultural awareness, collaboration, and personal and social competence. A distinguishing feature of the Australian curriculum is its emphasis on how learning occurs. Learning is designed to be inquiry-driven, interdisciplinary, and connected to authentic real-world contexts. Students are encouraged to investigate, question, analyze, and construct knowledge through meaningful experiences rather than simply receive information. This holistic approach prepares learners not only for academic success, but also to become adaptable, reflective, and responsible citizens capable of contributing meaningfully to a rapidly evolving global society.
One of the defining characteristics of Australian classrooms is their student-centered approach. Students are encouraged to actively participate in learning through inquiry, collaboration, discussion, project-based learning, and real-life problem solving rather than rote memorizing information.
Learners are encouraged to think critically, ask meaningful questions, and apply their knowledge in authentic situations. Teachers act as facilitators, guiding the students to reflect, to explore, and to become independent learners.
Another key feature is a strong emphasis on student well-being and inclusive education. Schools strive to create safe, supportive, and inclusive environments where every child feels valued and has the opportunity to succeed.
And the ultimate goal is not just academic excellence, but to develop confident, resilient, and responsible learners who are well equipped to deal with the life situations, the knowledge, the skills, and values which are needed for lifelong learning and active citizenship.
One of the key features of Australian teaching is its student-centered approach. Students actively explore, question, collaborate, and apply their learning to real-life situations. The focus is on developing critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills, not just acquiring knowledge.
And what makes the student-centered approach so effective? That it recognizes every child is different. Teachers don't expect all the students to learn in the same way. They adapt their teaching so that every learner feels supported, included, and able to succeed. This creates a classroom where every student has the opportunity to grow with confidence.
Yes, correct. Now, the next important part of the learning process is assessment. In addition to the written test, students demonstrate their understanding through projects, presentations, investigations, and collaborative activities.
And because assessment is a part of learning, so feedback becomes equally important. It's part of everyday teaching. Teachers guide students regularly. This makes learning less stressful and more meaningful. Students understand what they're doing well and which are the areas they need to improve upon. It builds confidence, encourages a growth mindset, and helps every learner reach their full potential.
As we conclude, it becomes evident that the strength of the Australian education system lies not in abandoning traditional academic rigor, but in complementing it with innovation, inclusivity, and student-centered pedagogy. Its emphasis on inquiry, differentiation, authentic assessment, student agency, and well-being reflects a broader vision of education, one that seeks to develop knowledgeable individuals and also socially responsible citizens. For India, the objective is not replication, but thoughtful adaptation. By contextualizing these practices, we can enrich our classroom experience while preserving the strengths of our existing systems. The National Education Policy of 2020 has already initiated this transformative journey by advocating competency-based learning, experiential education, flexibility, and holistic development. Australia's experience demonstrates how these principles can be translated into effective classroom practices. By integrating India's rich educational heritage with globally recognized best practices, we can create classrooms and empower every learner to thrive in the 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Australia. The next presentation explores China, whose remarkable educational achievements have attracted global attention. Please welcome Team China as they present the practices, innovations, and reflections from one of the most influential countries in the world and their education system. Thank you.
What are the ingredients, not just of effective schools, but of effective systems?
This question lies at the heart of Vivian Stewart's A World-Class Education. Imagine designing an education system not just for today's students, but for the world they'll inherit 20 years from now. That, ladies and gentlemen, is precisely what China has attempted to do. China is home to the world's largest education system, educating over 290 million students across 500,000 schools.
When people think of China's education system, words like competition, discipline, and examination come to mind. But beyond these stereotypes lie a very complex truth. Good morning, everyone. Or should I say ni hao? Because we are Team China, and we are here to take you beyond headlines, to bust myths, and to tell you why China is one of the best education systems in the world today. Now, in Vivian Stewart's The World-Class Education, we have 8 common elements that are common to the countries that have the best educational practice, out of which almost 6 practices are 5 on 5 rating for China. We are going to take you through each element one by one now.
The first element Stewart identifies is vision and leadership. She argues that world-class education is built under a clear and long-term vision, no short reforms. China reflects this through the national plan from medium to long-term plan, Education Reform Development 2010 to 2020, using a set of ambitious goals, including universal preschool, completion of compulsory education, reducing gaps between the distances between schools, and developing 100 world-class universities. The long-term vision delivered its result. Today, China has the world's largest education system, and its participating provinces remain among the world's highest performers at PISA 2022, which demonstrates the impact of sustained system-wide planning rather than isolated reforms.
One of the key reasons behind China's success is the quality of its teachers. Teaching in China is considered a highly respectable profession, and teachers or educators have an important role in shaping the education policies. According to the OECD Teaching and Learning International Survey 2024 Shanghai Report, teachers expressed strong confidence in their initial training and professional learning. Even experienced teachers had a very structured induction, mentoring, and continuous professional development. China is traditionally deeply rooted in the elements of guanxi, which is essentially building relationships based on mutual trust and obligations. This culture actually helps the teachers build their professional network and also collaborate closely with their colleagues. This further supports them or provides them support in areas of subject expertise, pedagogy, classroom management, and the likes. Stewart herself has mentioned that teacher progresses through 4 professional grades, and their promotion depends on their quality of teaching, mentoring other teachers, research, and their contributions in the field of education. The state, in fact, has a prominent teacher honor system which felicitates these contributions. As shown in the graph here, teacher collaboration in China is significantly higher as compared to the global average.
Coming to the ambitious standards aren't just about expecting the students to score well. They're about never allowing the system to become complacent. China regularly reviews its curriculum and benchmarks itself amongst the world-class education systems and revises the national standards to meet changing economic and societal needs. Stewart points out that high-performing systems don't maintain success. They aim to improve it continuously. And in China, the ambitious standards are not a destination. They are a commitment to the continuous improvement.
Coming to that student motivation, the extraordinary motivation of the students is not accidental. It is aligned with the national priorities, which are based on hard work, discipline, and strong work ethics. The government considers education as an investment. Their programs like 21-1, 98-5, and the double first-class university plan aim to raise the standard of the universities to meet the international standards and also make an educational hub in China. And coming to the common entrance exam of the Chinese, which is called Gaokao, the students face a strong exam which gives them access to all the high-end universities. And in a country where education is considered as a fairest means to success, is a great motivating force for the students to work hard. And the social mobility, irrespective of the social and the cultural background, gives the students a strong motivation to work hard and be successful. Thank you.
Another one of the defining features of the Chinese education is their willingness to learn from the world while keeping and preparing their students for the future. Did you know that before any major curriculum reforms are introduced in China, they actually observed 30 countries so that they could identify effective practices and adapt it to the Chinese context? As a result of this, English became compulsory from grade 3, expanded inquiry-based learning. They even gave more importance to arts and humanities and global awareness in the last few years. What do we learn from this? We see that China doesn't demonstrate preserving tradition as the only role that it plays. It shows continuous reform in order to prepare their students for the rapidly changing global world.
Coming to the element of alignment and coherence, one of the strongest arguments that Vivian Stewart puts forth in her book is that a successful education system does not just focus on improving one aspect of education, rather it focuses on improving the entire system together. Now, China demonstrates this through its coordinated reforms. As it transitioned from a system that heavily relied on rote learning and memorization to inquiry-based classrooms, China did this through deliberate efforts in investing in teacher development and training, redesigning its classroom practices, reforming its assessments to measure higher order thinking, among others.
Now, documents and policies, they can only tell us half the story, right? To know how these educational practices are, we should listen to them, to the people who can give us first-hand perspectives. So, surprise, we actually interviewed some people who have lived, studied, and worked in the Chinese systems. So rather than hearing it from us, why don't you hear it directly from them?
My name is William.
Hi, I'm Stella.
I'm Paulo.
My name is Kristen Muirhead.
My name is Rodrigo Costa.
Grade 1 to grade 9 is free, totally free.
I guess education-wise, they're way more advanced. I say that's the number one benefit. It gives them good opportunities as well. In the best ways possible, they are punctual. They stay strict to their rules and schooling.
They focus a lot on collective work. Students learn to work in different types of environments and learn to deal with people.
I appreciate the hard-working part of it. Like, they take it seriously, and it's a lot of practice. I feel like that's something that they learn in like their early stages, so that's why they take it with them towards high school, towards university. So they're passionate about it. So that's why like most of them excel sometimes, because like there's a pattern for everything. So they're used to that trajectory, I would say. Yeah.
In China, you know, after 30, you can choose to take part in some curriculums, also some safety, for example, firefighting, for example, and also make sure you're healthy. And also, if you're involved in, how can you rescue yourself?
If you compare to international schools and local schools, they are way ahead of us. Whereas in Australia, it's a totally different mindset, where your kids have fun, fall, and all that. But as well, it's a bit too freeing. because they don't, like, I guess they're not as fast paced with learning as much as Chinese education. They're very good. I've met kids that are insanely talented, super brainy, and I think it's amazing to see as well, and they still enjoy their childhood.
School, it's quite structured. The local curriculum, I think it gives us opportunity to get to know everything first, and then we can pick what we like, and then we can focus on it. But the basic stuff, or maybe the foundation of most subjects, we get to touch a little bit. Yeah.
What I really learned here through my years is like how to study efficiently, how not just like go through slides and like just do exercise randomly. You need a process for everything.
To me, from what I've observed, it has mostly to do with the effort that the students that come from these Chinese systems have. It has more to do with effort. They're more willing to pay attention. They're more willing to try harder. And you can also see it in their performance as well. They're very success driven, that I've noticed. So they tend to be more diligent with their bookwork as well.
After school, there must be something afterwards. So whether it be tutoring or a sports class or like phonics, anything between that, there's always a class. Every single person I know that's in the Chinese educational system, there's always an extracurricular that they do, especially on the weekend.
We balance the art part, the activities, and also the main course.
Also, like, I know we have a lot of tests, we have a lot of readings and stuff, but I think it actually gives us another opportunity to really learn, because like you really do need to keep practice, right? And then you need to keep studying. I think deep down, it's like probably unsubconsciously you are building that knowledge, but you weren't aware of it until one day something like clicks, and then you realize, oh, that's what I learned. I feel like because knowing other people from different backgrounds as well, I realized some things that I thought was common sense, but it wasn't to some people. So I was like, oh, okay, like why was that? I thought like everybody has to learn that. But then those people might be missing out, maybe.
I think now the school don't give too much stress to the students. This is part of the pressure management and also mental health. So now most teachers focus on the balance, make them happy, and also get the knowledge.
With the new transition, again, I've mentioned that it was more traditional, but now local schools are trying to become more open-minded. So nowadays, I can see schools here progressing more into creating a safe environment, a fun environment for their students. With the government trying to step in as well and trying to help, I think there has been some improvement.
1, 2, 3.
While no education system is perfect, China's experience reiterates the fact that for meaningful education reform to actually happen, every system, every part of the system has to work together and move towards a common goal. Perhaps then the question should not be whether India should replicate the Chinese model. Rather, how can we adapt these best practices thoughtfully to further strengthen our schools' learning?
So, as we come to the conclusion, whatever we had read in Vivian Stewart's book, I think we were able to apply that when we spoke to the individuals we interviewed. And perhaps that's the lesson we take home today. Because Vivian Stewart, in one of her chapters, says that there are no silver bullets. What do you think that means, right? No silver bullets means that there is no single policy, no single reform that can transform education overnight. World-class education isn't built on overnight reform or one brilliant classroom. An entire system has to come together and move towards a shared vision for us to do so. So let's all vouch to do that as educators. Thank you.
Thank you, Team China. Thank you to all our presenters for those insightful presentations. We've heard about a variety of approaches to educational excellence, from Japan's emphasis on discipline and character, Finland's culture of trust and equity, Canada's commitment to inclusion, Australia's focus on innovation and global competence, and China's pursuit of academic excellence and continuous improvement. Now we move to the exciting part of the debate, the questioning session, where our delegates will have the opportunity to engage in dialogue, seek clarification, and listen to one another's idea and the spirit of academic discussion. I would now like to invite the delegates from each country to kindly come forward. now invite Team Japan to start the discussion.
Okay, this question is to Australia. Australia places strong emphasis on learner choice, flexibility, and individual voice. How does your education system ensure that these freedoms consistently develop responsibility and collective accountability rather than placing individual preference above community responsibility?
I would like to begin with the Alice Springs Mawante Education Declaration. That's a national policy of Australia, which requires schools to build active and informed members of the community alongside individual development. So, Australian education system, it's, like you rightly said, it encourages individual choice. But at the same time, they also say that, teachers make the students understand that each choice comes with responsibility. We know that Australia is a multicultural country, continent. There are people from different ethnicities, there are people from different cultures, speaking different languages, following different beliefs. And at the same time, there's the history of the Aborigines and the Torres Strait Islanders. So when we look at it, the schools incorporate not only individual choices and development, but as part of their curriculum. But at the same time, the community responsibility also by directly, including it in their daily routines. So you have students who are doing shared projects. They are doing a lot of discussions, debates. They're doing a lot of activities. All this, not only encourages their own personal thing, but also makes them understand that it's not the individual who gets it at the end of it. It's the team effort. I would like to give an example here. Say when students are part of their classroom, making their classroom norms or this thing, they get a choice of what they want in their class. Their electives also, if they're choosing. But at the same time, they also are now accountable for, making sure that they do not disturb others. They do not disrupt that is also part of their things. So the teacher's role here is just to encourage the students, ensure that, with all the activities and the projects that they're doing, they understand all this and they learn to listen, respect, and reflect. Listen to others, respect the opinion of what the other person has, and reflect on their own actions. So basically, the Australian education system, in a nutshell, if you say, they are encouraging their students to agree to disagree. I hope thank you.
Thank you. Next, we would like Team Australia to pose their question.
Thank you. How can China's education system successfully transition from an exam-driven, rote learning model to one that fosters the creative problem-solving required for a modern innovation economy without losing its high academic standards?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. While we agree that this has been one of the biggest challenges that China's education system has faced for the longest time, the assumption that it still largely remains heavily reliant on rote learning and memorization and solely exam-driven is largely outdated. As mentioned earlier, China has made consistent and deliberate efforts to transition from the system I mentioned earlier to inquiry-based classrooms, to project-based classrooms. It has invested heavily in teacher training and development, reformed its assessment practices, and all of this without compromising on the rigorous academic standards that it prides itself in.
Right. If I may add something I read in one of the journals, I think, like she said, it is getting outdated, that thought that China is still very relevant only for rote memorization. Because in 2021, I think, in 2021, there was a new reform called the double reduction policy, which I think helped decrease the excessive homework that teachers used to give students previously, and also I think brought down the extra classes, the tutoring that happens after school. And I think after that, 90% of students were noted to have had good sleep. And not just like a good night's sleep, but having completed their homeworks early on. I think this sets out an environment that gives them scope for holistic development and innovation. And I think the previous number was in its 40s, 45s, I'm not sure. But that's a big change, right, when they move from 46 to 90. And I think that's China's biggest strength. Because like we talked about global orientation, China wants to keep becoming better. And while no country has found the right balance, China's consistent attempt to reform is something Stewart mentions in her book. And I think that's something we should all appreciate moving forward. So I think that's my answer. Thank you.
It's now China's time to seek clarification.
Oh, I think her question is to Finland. So Finland is the model education system, right? But during our research, I think OECD PISA 2022, the statistics in the last decade have been dropping for Finland. They've seen, I think, the lowest scores so far for mathematics, reading, and science. So if at all the Finnish system is so brilliant, why is student achievement facing a sustained decline?
Thank you for the question. Coming to Finland being one of the best educational model, I would like to rephrase it, first of all. Finnish education system is not one of the smartest. It is one of the fairest education system. I would go with the word fairest because it provides opportunity, equal opportunity. The very crux of the Finnish education system is providing equal opportunity to each learner. It is not, again and again I'm reiterating it, that it is not to bring all the children to a particular benchmark and proving that, they are doing their job. Now, if you look at, you just now mentioned that Finnish, the assessment marks when taken into account or when looked into from the point of view of the PISA score, which is, conducted by the organization OECD, which is actually a statistical hub, okay? Now that looks into inflation, GDP, unemployment, which is, if I take education into account, which is very sterile, okay? So let's look into, and we are handling, lives here. We cannot be sterile. So we don't go by this PISA assessment marks only, and if you look at it, the fact is, of course, Finland was there in the first 5 initially. It has slipped down, but it has not gone way down, okay, or not even midway. So it has maintained, if you look at last year's, report, you will see that it has retained the position of 12th position. Now, 38 countries take this PISA exam, okay, out of the 195 countries that we have throughout the world. And if 12th is the position, it's not way down, okay, first of all that. Then coming back to the fairest, Finland being fairest, they don't ask question like most of the universities or most of the schools do that, who is your best student? They look for how to make each student be the best, best of their version. Yeah. So that's a beautiful part of Finnish education system, and Finnish education system has never claimed by itself that it is one of the best or it is the smartest. It has always publicly acknowledged that it has made mistake, and it has worked backwards to put everything correct. Now I'll not go further into detail. I'll just quote an example. That is a small town called Riihimäki, north of Helsinki. Helsinki is the capital of Finland. So they did a pilot project in 2018. So in that year, what they did was the entire middle school, the books were taken off, the writing was taken off, pencils, pens, everything was taken off, and each of the kid were given the digital, this thing, that is gadget, laptops, tablets, etc. Within 5 to 6 years, they did not go for data analysis or major data analysis or something like that. within 5 to 6 years, they realize, that is, we have already told Finnish teachers enjoy a lot of autonomy, and their word is given a lot of importance or priority. Now, within 6 years, they realize that, children, the concentration level of the children, the creativity, the out-of-box thinking capacity, everything has come down. They are getting hooked onto the systems. So 2024, they took off that pilot project, they brought back the books in, they brought back the pen and pencil, but keeping in tandem with the AI or digitization requirement, they introduced the gadgets also on the sidelines for grades 1 to 9. 10th onwards, yes, children were given gadgets, but till then, they 1 to 9, they made a major overhaul. Okay, so this is my answer to that, don't go by the PISA score only. It is, and my colleague already mentioned that Finnish people, they are one of the most happiest. This is the 9th consecutive year that they are #1 on the happiness index. And if you look at the, and if you look at the crime rate, whether it is organized crime, individual crime, small theft, everything, if you look at it, Finland, score is like way down. It is one of the most peaceful countries for not just the residents, but the travelers also. So that's my...
I think throughout the presentations, questions and answers, we see that education is directly reflected in the country's culture and vice versa, right? Yeah, what is their cultural attitude is directly reflected in their education policies, right? So I think now Finland can take their turn.
Thank you, ma'am. This question is for Canada. Finland believes that every child should receive an equally high quality education, regardless of where they live. With education managed separately by each state, each province, how does Canada guarantee consistent standards and equal opportunities for all students?
That's a great question, ma'am. Now, I would like to say that Canada achieves equity not despite decentralization, but it is because of the way it manages it. Now, first thing is, even though provinces run education, they stay connected and aligned with each other. Now, second thing is, Canada focuses on achieving equal results, not identical systems. Third, equity is actively funded. Now, a child's postal code does not determine their potential there. So, Finland's model is same system and same quality, but Canada's model is different paths, same goal. That's the difference there. And the evidence speaks as well. Canada consistently performs at high levels globally while maintaining one of the smallest equity gaps. So that's their achievement. Now, in short, Canada doesn't standardize the journey, it guarantees the destination. That's the difference. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Now I think you can have a question to a team of your choice.
My question is to Team Japan. Japan promotes a strong group-oriented culture, discipline, and student responsibility, including practices like classroom cleaning and collective learning. However, students acknowledge pressure to conform and limited individual expression as a key limitation. So my question is, while Japan's system successfully builds discipline and community responsibility, how does it ensure that this strong collective culture does not suppress creativity, individuality, and student voice, especially when preparing students for diverse and rapidly changing global contexts like India?
Thank you for the question. We agree that creativity, individuality, and student voices are very essential for preparing learners for today's rapidly changing world. At the same time, Japan demonstrates, in fact, the discipline and creativity, they're not opposing forces. In fact, they complement each other. And responsibility and respect are the foundation on the basis of which this creativity is flourishing. So having said that, this is also reflected beyond education. as you saw in our presentation also, Japan has been a consistent global leader, be it the, the innovations, the robotics, the hybrid vehicle production, anything, and even products like the Shinkansen bullet train. All these innovations that have come up, precision manufacturing, in fact. So all these achievements suggest that a culture of discipline has not limited innovation. In fact, it has only grown or supported it. And in schools, learners, they are engaged in experiential learning, collaborative problem solving. We have robotics, we have disaster simulations, inquiry-based activities. So alongside, there is a strong character education also. So as we have shown in our presentation, these experiences are what engage the learners or encourage the learners to critically think while remaining what we can say is responsible members of their community. Okay, so our recommendation is definitely not to copy Japan, no. We would say adapt that to the practices that can align with the Indian values of respect and responsibility and community. And we presented the early years evidence from the Choice School only to demonstrate that all these habits can be intentionally nurtured from a very young age. And we also recognize that many of our teachers here from our schools here are already tailoring these values in their respective classrooms. So in short, discipline creates creativity, and creativity creates the confidence to innovate.
Thank you. That was very well answered.
Thank you. I thank all the teams and the delegates for your thoughtful questions and well-reasoned responses. The final presentation brings us home to India, a nation with one of the world's largest and most diverse education systems. India's education system is undergoing a significant transformation, driven by visionaries who also include our own Mr. Jose Thomas, to make learning more inclusive, flexible, future-ready, and moreover, nurturing an individual's holistic growth. The team will share their research and reflections now on the best practices that can strengthen education in our country, India.
Over the past few minutes, we have explored inspiring education systems from Japan, China, Finland, Australia, and Canada. Each reflects its own unique culture, history, and priorities. As Team India, we believe that there is no single best education system. As Vivian Stewart highlights, high-performing nations learn from one another and adapt ideas to their own context. In accordance to what we have heard today from all the country teams, we Team India is here to share what we can emphasize on and what we can adopt, adapt, and implement.
So here are some adapting best practices that we thought India could adapt. The first one being vocational pathways. So our biggest takeaway from Singapore is their vocational education. So it's not about changing our education system to vocational focus. It's about changing the culture. So India has already valued vocational training through our traditional craftsmanship, trades, and skill-based education. Today, this vision is being strengthened through NEP 2020 and initiatives like Kaushal Bodh and Kaushal Vikas, which will equip learners with practical skills, career awareness, and entrepreneurship from a very early stage of life. The next step is changing mindsets. So how do we do that? As educators, we should help the society to recognize that our success is not just limited with traditional practices, the vocational education, and empowering the community to know about the importance of all the skills. So when we give value for all the skills and trades, our whole generation and community will be empowered.
Value-based education. Our biggest takeaway from Japan is that education is not just about academic excellence.
It is about building responsible, compassionate, and purpose driven individuals. Character is not taught through textbooks, it is nurtured through everyday class culture, school culture, and routines and relationships. Interestingly, these values are deeply rooted in our India's own educational heritage. The Gurukul system emphasized discipline, respect, community living, and holistic development long before this even became a global priority. Today, NEP 2020 seeks to revive this balance by promoting values, life skills, social emotional learning, and holistic education. Our task is now to bring about these principles alive in our classrooms by promoting student responsibility, service learning, collaboration, and leadership opportunities. India's goal is not to become like Japan, but to strengthen its own vision by making values, purpose, and collaboration an integral part of everyday learning.
Professional development. One message stood out constantly across the world's leading education systems. Education excellence begins with empowered teachers. Whether it is Finland's culture of trust and professional autonomy, or China's structured mentoring, classroom observation, and weekly professional development led by master teachers, continuous teacher learning is embedded in school culture. India is already moving in this direction through NEP 2020, Nishita, and Diksha, and the 4-year integrated BA program. The introduction of national program standards for teachers is another important step, recognizing professional development as a continuous journey. As India's classrooms become increasingly diverse, teacher development must extend beyond subject knowledge to include differentiated instructions, inclusive practices, and support for every learner. Schools can further strengthen mentoring programs, peer observations, professional learning communities, and reflective practice so teachers learn from one another. The lesson from the world's best systems is clear. When teacher continues to learn, every learner benefits. Thank you.
Sustainable future. Various countries highlight that education is not just about preparing students for jobs. It's about preparing them to care for the world that they will inherit. Climate change, biodiversity loss, sustainable development are among some of the defining challenges of our time. As Vivian Stewart reminds us, the knowledge, the skills, attitudes that shape responsible behavior are developed during childhood. Sustainability, therefore, cannot remain confined to a subject or a single chapter. It must become a part of everyday learning across the curriculum. India has already taken significant steps through Mission Life, environmental education, and the emphasis on experiential learning in NEP 2020. Our next step is to move beyond awareness and empower students to become active change makers through community engagement, local environmental initiatives, and responsible action. Education becomes truly meaningful when students realize they're not just learning about the world, they are learning how to improve it.
Equity with excellence. In the world's highest performing education systems, excellence is achieved through equity. High performing countries recognize that talent exists everywhere, opportunity does not. Rather than distributing resources equally, they provide greater support to schools and communities that need it the most. Whether it is additional funding, stronger school leadership, experienced teachers, or targeted interventions, they deliberately invest in reducing educational disparities. India has always believed in the transformative power of education, and NEP 2020 and the recent curriculum framework revisions reinforce this commitment to equitable and inclusive education. Our next step in India would be to strengthen inclusive classrooms, build meaningful community partnerships, support first-generation learners through mentorships and scholarships, and extend learning beyond the school walls. Excellence should never be the privilege of a few. It should be the right of every child. Because when every learner is given the opportunity to succeed, families flourish, communities prosper, and the nation grows stronger. And we can proudly say that many of the best practices that we have discussed this morning are already being implemented in our choice school, all campuses, under the guidance of our visionary leader, Mr. Jose Thomas, and a strong team of principals, vice principals, and beautiful educators who are doing it on a daily basis in the classes.
So, what can we do from now? So, India has already begun our journey towards a world-class education through NEP 2020 and the National Curriculum Framework 2023. So, these provide a strong foundation, but the meaningful implementation will give the results. The real impact will unfold gradually as these policies ripple through classrooms. Success doesn't depend on the policies alone. It depends on the consistent implementation and follow-up. This calls for a strong institutional leadership, empowered teachers, continuous professional learning, and robust monitoring to ensure the quality and consistency. Now, the bridge between the gap is done by aligning the curriculum based on the reality, assessments, again, professional development. The author, Vivian Stewart, reminds us that effective education system will strike the balance between national direction, local autonomy, providing the standards that will empower the schools to innovate within their context. India's next leap is not to rewrite its vision, but to implement its vision with commitment, consistency, and collaboration.
India's educational journey is rooted in its rich heritage and guided by a forward-looking vision. By building on our strengths and implementing reforms with purpose and consistency, we can create an education system that prepares every learner to thrive in this changing world. Here we are focusing on equity, which will lead us to excellence.
This professional development journey has shown us that every education system has something valuable to contribute. World-class education is not a destination. It is a journey of continuous learning, reflection, and improvement. Let today's discussions not end here, but continue in our classrooms, our professional conversations, and our everyday practice. Because the future of education is not shaped by policies alone, but by educators who are committed to learning, growing, and inspiring change. One classroom, one teacher, one learner at a time. Thank you very much.
This journey of book reflection across the education systems from different countries has shown us that there is no single model of educational excellence. Instead, each system offers valuable practices that can inspire us to rethink and enrich our own teaching and learning. But this is not where our journey ends. In fact, it is where it truly begins. As educators, we must continue to explore, question, and discover new practices that enhance learning experiences for every student. After all, the pursuit of a world-class education is not an exhausting journey. It is an ongoing process that shapes us into lifelong learners, and this is exactly what CATD strives to foster: a culture of continuous learning, reflection, collaboration, and professional growth, empowering educators to learn from the world and bring the best practices back to their classrooms. Thank you to all our presenters.
May I now invite Dr. Maria Namat to present certificates to the presenters of the CATD book debate. May I request a representative from each team to kindly come forward and receive their certificates on behalf of their teams. Thank you, Dr. Maria. Behind every thriving culture of professional learning stands leadership that believes teachers deserve opportunities to grow. Today, we express our sincere gratitude to 4 exceptional leaders whose encouragement and unwavering support have strengthened CATD throughout the year.
May I invite Ms. Elizabeth Jose to present a token of appreciation to our esteemed educational leaders whose vision and guidance continue to inspire excellence.
We begin by honoring a leader whose exceptional dedication to excellence has fostered a culture of innovation, collaboration, and lifelong learning. We proudly recognize Ms. Rachel Ignatius, Principal, The Choice School, Kochi, for her outstanding contributions to education. Although she is unable to be with us now, we extend our heartfelt congratulations and appreciation for her remarkable service.
Our next recognition is for a leader who continues to inspire her school community through vision, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to nurturing future-ready learners. May I invite Ms. Anisha, Principal, The Choice School, Tiruvalla, to kindly come forward and receive the token of appreciation.
We now honor a leader whose guidance and devoted leadership continue to strengthen the foundation of educational excellence at the Choice School. May I invite Mr. Maqsood Alam, the Principal, Choice School, Calicut, to please come forward.
Behind every thriving IB continuum is a team of dedicated leaders who champion inquiry, inspire collaboration, and ensure that the philosophy of the IB is translated into meaningful learning experiences every single day. On behalf of Dr. Maria Namat, head of the Choice IB School, Kochi, we invite our IB Continuum heads and coordinators, Mr. Philip Jolly, Ms. Tina Alice Sissel, and Ms. Sajida Benjamin Bino to join us on stage and receive this token of appreciation in recognition of their invaluable leadership and commitment to academic excellence. Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, a heartfelt round of applause for a wonderful leadership team.
The true measure of an educator is often found in the things that are never asked of them. The extra hour they give, the responsibility they willingly take on, the countless ways they support others without expecting recognition. It is these quiet acts of commitment that leave the deepest impact.
Today, we celebrate individuals who truly embody the spirit of service beyond self. To present this special recognition, may I invite Dr. Maria Namat onto the stage.
Our first recipient has consistently gone beyond the classroom, giving generously of his time, talent, and energy. Whether through music, school events, or supporting the wider school community, he exemplifies what it means to serve with dedication and heart. The Service Beyond Self, Going the Extra Mile Award is presented to Mr. Arjun Subramaniam, Music Faculty.
Our next recipient has quietly and consistently enriched our school through creativity, commitment, and a willingness to step forward whenever needed. His contributions extend far beyond his subject, reflecting a genuine spirit of service to the school community. A national award-winning artist, his expertise is shared equally with all the 3 choice schools. The Service Beyond Self, Going the Extra Mile Award is presented to Mr. Ranjit Lal, Visual Arts Faculty.
our next recipient has demonstrated that service extends beyond responsibility. Through his leadership in advancing social responsibility, sustainability, and community engagement, he has strengthened initiatives that reflect the values of our institution and inspire meaningful action. He has, at times, selflessly collaborated with us in bringing his knowledge and passion to each and every one of us. The Service Beyond Self, Going the Extra Mile Award is presented to Mr. Carson Roper in recognition of his dedicated leadership and commitment to creating a positive and lasting impact. Congratulations to our deserving recipients. May your commitment continue to inspire us all. Professional learning becomes meaningful because of educators who willingly share their expertise with others. Every workshop conducted under CATD has strengthened not only individual teachers, but our collective learning culture.
It is now our pleasure to recognize our dedicated workshop facilitators whose generosity in sharing knowledge has enriched our entire community. I now invite Dr. Maria Namat to please do the honors. May I invite the facilitators to the stage as their names are announced. With gratitude for their valuable contribution as a workshop facilitator, we invite Ms. Hannah Masood to the stage to receive their certificate.
Please join us in appreciating Ms. Shailaja Raghunath, whose session enriched our learning community.
Ms. Lopamudra De to come forward in recognition of their outstanding contribution as a workshop facilitator.
We invite Sabita K to receive their certificate.
We invite Ms. Preeta Jibu for sharing their expertise in empowering fellow educators.
Please welcome Sangeeta M to the stage as we recognize their invaluable contribution to CATD. We are pleased to honor Mr. Basil Devi for generously sharing their knowledge and inspiring meaningful learning.
With gratitude to their valuable contribution as a workshop facilitator, we invite Ms. Aishwarya S. Bhatt to the stage to receive their certificate.
Please join us in appreciating Mr. Philip Jolly, whose session enriched our learning community.
We now recognize Ms. Tina Alice Sissel for their dedication to fostering collaboration, reflection, and professional growth.
It is our pleasure to honor Ms. Sajda Binu Benjamin for facilitating a workshop that inspired new ideas and meaningful conversations.
We warmly invite Ms. Srija P.N. to come forward in recognition of their outstanding contribution as a workshop facilitator. Today we also celebrate Ms. Leena Raghunath for sharing their expertise and empowering fellow educators. In appreciation for their passion for learning and excellence in facilitation, we invite Ms. Rashmi Raj to receive their certificate.
Please welcome Ms. Miriam Thomas to the stage as we recognize their invaluable contribution to CATD.
We are pleased to honor Ms. Sangeeta K. Nair for generously sharing their knowledge and inspiring meaningful learning.
With gratitude for their valuable contribution as a workshop facilitator, we invite Ms. Chitra Vinod to the stage to receive her certificate.
Please join us in appreciating Ms. Amina Aziz, whose session enriched our learning community.
We now recognize and Ms. Anjali Venugopal for their dedication to fostering collaboration, reflection, and professional growth.
It is our pleasure to honor Ms. Nancy Titi for facilitating a workshop that inspired new ideas and meaningful conversations. Today we celebrate Ms. Lakshmi Thara MS for sharing their expertise and empowering fellow educators.
In appreciation of their passion for learning and excellence in facilitation, we invite Ms. Alicia Sam to receive their certificates.
Next, we invite Ms. Aparna Hari to receive their certificate.
Please join us in appreciating Ms. Girija P, whose session enriched our learning community.
Next, we invite Ms. Karina Francis for sharing their expertise and empowering fellow educators. I invite Ms. Daisy MX to the stage as we recognize their invaluable contribution. Thank you, Mariamma. Thank you all the educators for being catalysts of learning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at the most prestigious moment of today's celebration. The CATD Chairman's Award is not simply an award for participation. It is a recognition of educators who consistently demonstrate excellence in professional learning, innovation, collaboration, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to educational transformation.
These awardees represent the very spirit of CATD and embody our chairman's vision of lifelong learning. To present the CATD Chairman's Awards, may I respectfully invite our founder and chairman, the one and only Mr. Jose Thomas, along with Dr. Mariana Mart, onto the stage.
Our first CATD Chairman's Award honors an educator whose quiet leadership, remarkable initiative, and unwavering commitment have made a lasting impact on the Choice community. As the librarian at Choice School, Calicut, he has transformed the library into far more than a space for books. It has become a vibrant center of curiosity, creativity, and lifelong learning. Known for his exceptional ability to think beyond the obvious, he never waits for opportunities to arise, but takes the initiative to create them. With vision, resourcefulness, and a relentless pursuit of excellence, he consistently transforms ambitious ideas into meaningful action, always seeing them through with sincerity and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to announce the first recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Mr. Midun, Librarian, Choice School, Calicut.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award recognizes a young educational leader whose journey reminds us that leadership is defined not by age, but by vision, commitment, and an unquenchable passion for learning. Among the youngest leaders in the Choice family, she has earned the respect of colleagues through exceptional dedication, intellectual curiosity, and an unwavering pursuit of excellence. A lifelong learner at heart, she approaches every challenge with humility, resilience, and an inspiring commitment to student success. Her contribution has been instrumental in establishing and securing the authorization of the IB Diploma program at Choice School, Calicut, where she currently serves as the IB Diploma program coordinator. Working closely with her team, she has helped translate an ambitious vision into a thriving reality. Through her professionalism, integrity, and relentless work ethic, she has laid a strong foundation for future generations of IB learners. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Aparna Hari.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award celebrates an educator who brings together the grace of an artist, the heart of a mentor, and the discipline of an exceptional professional. A gifted Kathakali artist and a passionate educator, she has become one of the strongest pillars of the IB Primary Years program at the Choice School, Kochi. Her calm presence, infectious smile, and unwavering pursuit of excellence have earned the admiration of students, colleagues, and parents alike. As a PYP program associate and PYP5 homeroom teacher, she has nurtured young learners with warmth, empathy, and high expectations, while contributing significantly to the school's reading initiatives, cultural programs, and collaborative leadership. Through every interaction, she creates classrooms where children feel valued, inspired, and empowered to grow. She beautifully exemplifies the harmony of art, education, and compassionate leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Rashmi Raj.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award honors an educational leader whose consistency, compassion, and unwavering commitment have shaped one of the most significant chapters in our school's journey. An outstanding educator and mathematics teacher, she has demonstrated that true leadership is built upon resilience, integrity, and the willingness to serve every single day. As the IB Middle Years Program Coordinator, she played a pivotal role in guiding the successful authorization of the IB MYP and leading its very first cohort of students to successful completion. Beyond these remarkable achievements, she's admired for the warmth, kindness, and genuine care with which she nurtures every learner. Students look up to her not only as a teacher, but as a mentor who listens, encourages, and believes in their potential. Her leadership continues to strengthen the IB community and inspire everyone around her. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Tina Alice.
Our next CATD Chairman Award honors an educator whose dedication has made an extraordinary difference to the lives of countless young learners. As the mathematics subject head for grades 1 to 5, she has consistently demonstrated that true leadership is measured by service, whether seamlessly taking on additional responsibilities during staff transitions, developing comprehensive learning resources for every primary grade, or transforming mathematics into engaging, activity-based learning experiences. She has always placed children at the center of every decision. Her proactive approach, collaborative spirit, and exceptional work ethic have made her an invaluable pillar of the primary school. Through her passion and commitment, she has inspired confidence, curiosity, and a genuine love for learning amongst both students and colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Rajni Rajiv.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award recognizes an educator whose influence extends far beyond the classroom through visionary leadership and innovation. As the head of the sociology, psychology, political science, and history departments, she has inspired students with engaging teaching and earned their admiration through her approachable nature and positive spirit. Equally significant has been her contribution to professional learning, where she has encouraged teachers to embrace emerging technologies and innovative pedagogical practices, including the thoughtful integration of artificial intelligence into classroom teaching. By empowering colleagues to reimagine learning and fostering a culture of collaboration, creativity, and continuous improvement, she has strengthened not only her departments, but the wider learning community as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Sajina A.M.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award celebrates an educator whose leadership has transformed both the teaching of mathematics and the professional culture of collaboration among educators. She has consistently encouraged teachers to share best practices, reflect on their classroom experiences, and learn from one another, creating an environment where professional growth flourishes. Her passion for experiential learning has inspired students to explore mathematics beyond textbooks through observation, inquiry, outdoor experiences, and real-life applications that make learning meaningful and memorable. Through her innovative vision and unwavering commitment, she has demonstrated that mathematics is not merely a subject to be mastered, but a way of understanding the world with curiosity, confidence, and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Radhika Verma.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award honors an educator who believes that language is far more than a subject. It is a powerful force that shapes thought, identity, and human connection. As a passionate Malayalam educator, she has inspired students to appreciate their mother tongue through meaningful learning experiences that encourage critical thinking, creativity, and personal growth. Beyond the classroom, her compassionate leadership as a Grade 8 section coordinator has fostered a culture of trust, collaboration, and holistic student well-being during one of the most important stages of adolescence. By leading with empathy, purpose, and unwavering dedication, she has touched countless lives and strengthened the values that define our learning community. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Vani Prashant.
Our next CATD Chairman's Award celebrates an educator who has transformed the lives of countless learners through the power of inclusive education. As a dedicated special educator, she has consistently gone beyond expectations to ensure that every child receives personalized support, dignity, and the opportunity to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Her innovative teaching practices, collaborative approach with families and colleagues, and commitment to continuous professional learning have strengthened inclusive practices across the school community. Above all, her patience, empathy, and steadfast belief in the potential of every learner have created classrooms where every child experiences belonging, confidence, and success. She truly embodies the heart of education, seeing ability where others may see limitation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to announce the recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, Ms. Christine Sarah Jacob. So now we'll move on to our final CATD Chairman's Award recipient. And this person is an educator whose entrepreneurial vision and unwavering commitment have transformed learning into an experience that extends far beyond the classroom. As the head of the Commerce Department, he has created authentic opportunities for students to develop leadership, innovation, and social responsibility through pioneering initiatives such as the school's first Inter-School Commerce Fest, Allumage, and annual Deliciosa Charity Festival. By connecting students with industry, entrepreneurship, and meaningful community engagement, he has inspired them to become confident, compassionate, and future-ready leaders. His initiative, creativity, and passion for experiential learning continue to enrich the educational journey of every student he mentors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to announce the final recipient of the CATD Chairman's Award, and that is Mr. Sharad GS. Congratulations to every Chairman's Award recipient. Your achievements inspire the entire Choice family.
Behind every enduring institution stands a leader whose vision shapes its future. At the Choice Schools, a commitment to holistic education and continuous professional excellence has always been inspired by the vision of our founder. It is now my honor to invite our founder and chairman, Mr. Jose Thomas, to address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one and only Mr. Chairman, Mr. Jose Thomas.
What a morning, I must say. Fantastic. So Maria and the team, you did a fantastic job. Very informative, very educational, very encouraging, and I think my heartbeat is getting a little better now in terms of CATD. 2008 is what I conceived this. Because when I used to travel and when I used to see schools and countries and nations, I used to wonder, when do we? And I knew only training can make it because my life is all about training. Listen, I used to be a very shy kid. Very shy. Of course, after school, I came into business and I was selected by a US company to represent their interests in India through a business process. And these American guys came here and they found I had the talent, but I didn't have the leadership. That is a finding on me. So a trainer called Mr. Doug Lewis, I hope he's still alive. He was one of the most expensive trainer this company hired in the world. At that time, I heard he had $1 million salary and a private jet to go to all the locations to train people. And I was lucky enough, I was chosen from Southern India to go to the US for a 3-week training program. I still remember it. It's a small town called Cranford, New Jersey. And today you wouldn't believe it, I live in that area. I never knew. So I was 23, 24 years old, I go to the US. And this classroom, other candidates from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, it was a subcontinent get-together training. Smart guys too, Dubai, all those. I was petrified, seriously. I was afraid to get up and speak. And I said, what am I going to do? So this guy, Doug Lewis, he was a perfect trainer, like Maria. And maybe me too, a little bit. Because you learn. And the training started, the first session was, we were asked to come on stage and speak something about yourself. And there was 2-side camera. They were filming this. This is before the training started. My chance came. I tell you, I was sweating. I was folding my hand. I had put my hands in my pocket, like butterflies. Said everything is fine. Training started. It was a very intense training. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go running with them. This is to check our resilience and how, we manage the time management too. It was all, we didn't know what was going on. Then we have breakfast together with him, and then he says, oh, let's go read. So he'll take us to the library. It's a huge organization. They read about maritime law and how the ship's passages work and which are the main seaways and things like that. So we learned it, and 3-4 days later, I'm becoming more confident. Trust me. And I was looking forward to the training because I knew I'm going to benefit from it. Finally, at the 21st day, I was a different man. The same thing he did, he called us on stage. And he had the same filming done. And I tell you, I blew everybody's mind because I performed so well. And the last day was a big 2 screens like this. The day you came in and the day you're leaving, I was a transformed person. And that's the power of training. Trust me. So 2008 is the year I remember I named CATD. And it was a journey. It wasn't reaching any way I wanted it to be. And finally, I'm glad, Maria, you have given me dedicated support and your time and your commitment. So let's put our hands together a little more for her. It is not that I haven't tried. I have sent my teachers on orientation trips to the United States. 20-day trip. And I don't want to mention who all went. When they came back, they were all over. We're going to do it. We're going to change this. We're going to do this. We're going to change this. Little happened, but today I'll tell you this to make it a little more lighter. In Cochin, for next 30 days, you'll see a lot of good people amongst the Catholic community. And if you go today to a nice beauty parlor, you'll get appointment to go in because all the rich Catholic community of Cochin is on a training program. And this started last evening. The trainer is a good friend of mine. Very good friend. I met him in Rome, and he's a very educated person. So I called him up yesterday. I said, hey, I heard you're going to train the rich people. Yes, Yet, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I said, listen, I want you to write down 5 points. Have you done enough? Point number 1. What is the purpose of your life? What I have taught most of you in my sessions when you attended my class is what this instructor is teaching and asking these rich women and men, what have you done? Have you done enough? And this is going to be a 3-day program. I'm curating it sitting here, but there are 3 instructors who are trying to teach, and I hope they will change and come back. Not to be seen as people who have nothing else to think and finally not to be accountable when you go back. We all are going to be questioned. So as a teacher, you have a job. I have a job. I'm an educator more than an entrepreneur. I know that. And there's an educator inside me. And that's what drives it. With a clean hand, clean mind, clean soul, because I don't have the sinful action of taking a penny from school. To me, it's a sinful action. To my children, it will be a sinful action. Because I believe only way to change our communities and our society is education. And education is not a let-for-all free situation. It needs guidance, it needs training. And unfortunately, our Indian system is book-based and memory and memorize. And you write it and you go. And I did not like it. And that's the reason why I quit schooling when I was in the 11th grade. Because when I went to my 11th grade in Cochin, the St. Albert's College, they had a first year pre-degree. I sat there and I said, this is not the place I want to be. And I started to train, and I had trained. 2 months ago, in my home where I live in the US, my granddaughter, Ariana, she comes very often. And one fine morning when she came, she saw blackboards and all that in my living room. And a teacher who was half my age teaching me aviation in my home. Because I had to take a lot of lessons. And I said, learning never stops. And she asked me, Papa, will he scold you if you don't do your homework? Innocently, I said, yes. And the amount of notes I've written, my wife is a witness to it. And the hours I spend asking him stupid questions. Stupid questions. And he says, JT, this is the right way to learn. Because you need to ask. You can't just say, I know everything about education. I don't need training. I'm the superpower. I don't have to listen to somebody who's just preaching about education. It doesn't help, my dear friends. You need to pay attention to what others say, good or bad. And learning is a continuous process. In the last 10 years, I went to school many times because I want to be a winner in life. I went for my culinary diploma program and I took a night class. I used to walk in snow in New York City, going to my class at 7 p.m. and leaving at 11 at night. I have joined my flying course back again for a particular certification of an aeroplane. Still going on. When I go back, I have to do my exam. I brought all the material with me, all the books, because I know I'm accountable for training. And my trainer is waiting for me to come back. In fact, he texted me yesterday, when are you back? Because we need to complete your program. I had to do my medical, I had to do so much of work to be acquiring that skill of being a pilot of a particular aircraft. So that is teaching. Teaching is more important. If you go to the Indigo aircraft, outside the cockpit door, there is a board. It says, flying is a serious profession. Keep your worries home. To me, teaching is more important than that. Because the teacher's look and posture, the language and her delivery is what the child is absorbing. Cockpit door is closed, just two of them. But you are exposed to thousands of children's future and their life and their lifestyle. So it becomes a larger responsibility to call yourself as a teacher, because I consider it as a highly respectful job. And I am working hard to elevate the lifestyle of a teacher in bringing them at par with other industry standard jobs. Because people think teaching is a very, very low paid job. It is to some extent, but we need to get there. Only transformation can make it. And I'll assure you one thing, CATD is quite a serious plan for me, for you. The certificate program will change to something else. Today, this afternoon, I believe, there is a session, I forgot. I had to sit down, I'm supposed to forcefully sit down at the chair to forcefully meet with teachers or leaders whom I have not even met in the last 1 year, one-to-one. And I'm supposed to decide about the future paychecks. And that's what I've been asked to do. Now, what am I going to do there? Smile and be nice. And say, whatever you need, take it. And that's been my HR process at the school. But it is going to change. It's all going to be CATD. The hiring process has changed to CATD. The training center, which is CATD, will induct teachers, and you can negotiate. In this room, if any teacher wants to negotiate, come to me or go to Maria and say, I am this, I am this, I have been here only 6 months. You don't have to wait for 25 years to get a larger paycheck. I'll assure you that, provided you know what you want to be and you know what the goals are and the goals are delivered. It'll be done. That is the best part of Choice School, because I don't have to jump 10 board meetings to give you a raise. I don't have to make 5 phone calls to my children to give you a raise. The raise will be definitely depend upon what have you delivered. And I would certainly urge all of you to become serious with your profession. What I see lacking, because I take classes for most of you, what I see lacking in this Choice School teachers are current affairs. And if you don't prepare yourself for it, the children who are going to see you, meet you down the road, you're going to be embarrassed. 3 days ago, I had a twin kid in my office room. The twins are studying in Choice School, Kursin. I said to myself, oh my God, I got to read to answer the questions of the students, of these children. They were talking to me, interacting with me close to half hour. I was supposed to give them 5 minutes, I gave them an hour finally because I was learning. Fourth standard student enjoys. I was learning. They were teaching me AI. They were teaching me about NASA. They were teaching me about the futuristic space plan. I know a bit, but I'm not a Superman. And I said, you know what? I want to learn from you. And I paid attention and I learned. So what I'm trying to address or tell all of you is, if you want to be proud in a classroom, if you want to carry that pride with you as a teacher, be equipped to face these children who will be future ready before you think they are. So to all of you, respect CATD. Maria may be gone tomorrow. She'll be here for 15 years. Doesn't matter. CATD is a stamp that I will carry as a permanent certification body for education. Not even for choice school. If I run out of this, your team, I'll train other schools. Definitely I'll do it because I'm interested in education. You have my commitment on that. You have my commitment that you have a future here. You have a future. It is not going to end only with certifications, which is, of course, good. However, you can look forward to overseas trips for education. You want to go to Finland? Have a kind of a scheme, Maria. You can pick a group of 4 to 5 we will send to these countries for you to understand and bring back, not through internet, in real terms. I will send you to Helsinki. You want to go to Singapore? You want to go to Sydney? You want to go to any of these nations? I have sent my teachers in the past to UK and Spain and US and Japan. I have sent them. Yes, to some degree, we have benefited from it, and that's what you see at the Choice School. We got to go a long way. My demands are to be met. My demands, and I'm raising my bar every day. Unless I raise the bar every day, it's not going to work. So be proactive. If I come to Tiruvalla and speak to the commerce and economics students, and they held my shirt, don't go away, don't go away. They didn't even allow me to have a privacy during my lunchtime when I was in Tiruvalla last week. Because they said, teachers, please go, we want to sit with Jetty, sir. That is a teacher. They didn't even allow me to eat properly. I like duck, and they give me duck all the time I go there. I couldn't enjoy it because kids were asking me questions, and I couldn't properly have my lunch. And they were holding my shirt. And I said, come to Cochin. Come to Waves. Nothing happened after that. It died there. Is it a teacher who did it? Or is it a system who did it? Is it the parents who did it? Or they did it themselves? I don't know. But they did not show up. If they did show up, I would have spent the time and I would have made them better people in the subject that they wanted to learn. So question is here, you got to be the initiators too. You got to initiate. You can't just say, yes, that's it. They passed, they got, I don't know. I don't believe in all these distinctions and all this stuff. So you bring these kids who passed out last year for a test with me, who all got 99.99. Let me ask them life questions. They wouldn't answer. But is that what we want for the next generation? You guess it. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Your vision continues to remind us that when you invest in teachers, you invest in generations. As we come to the close of this inspiring celebration, it is only fitting that we pause to acknowledge the many individuals whose dedication has made today's event possible. On behalf of Dr. Maria Namat and the CATD, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our founder and chairman, Mr. Jose Thomas and his family, our management, principals and heads of all the schools, award recipients, facilitators, organizing team, Mr. Sumit Lal and the media team, technical crew, and every educator whose commitment to learning continues to strengthen our schools.
Today's celebration has reaffirmed a simple yet powerful truth. Great schools are built by great teachers, and great teachers never stop learning. May we continue to embrace CATD as a community where curiosity is encouraged, excellence is celebrated, and service remains at the heart of education. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes CATD Chairman's Award Ceremony 2026.
Thank you once again for your presence and your unwavering commitment to shaping the future through education. Thank you all.